times we're living in. I'll say that, Earl. It's
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit scared and worried for the United States right now.
Right there. Well, I'm going to start the stream. It's going to be a while before everything gets going here. I don't know why it's taking its stupid ass time.
Just can't wait to get your thoughts on that. It's a lot going on in the
Okay.
world.
All right there. All right there. We should be streaming right now, ladies and gentlemen. And give it a while. It takes a while for everything to calculate in terms of the OBS and such. Blah blah blah.
Right?
I don't know. For some reason, I think my computer needs another update because of the simple fact that uh, I've had this issue for a while now.
Right.
There are a lot of times I try to go live and such, and next thing you know, boom. Next thing you know, boom, something that comes along the way,
You,
either a stream stops or a buffers or any of that stuff. So, which is why a lot of times when me and YR do our shows together, he often records the show and he uploads it onto the chat that we have, like I'm doing right now, just in case anything is missed out on the live stream. We could go back
that
and correct those mistakes.
yeah, that works. That works. I like that.
All right. Yes. Hope there's no issues coming about. But, anyways, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Tuesday evening. It's going to be a Wednesday morning in about short while from now. So I figure I go live with Prince Ido since Paul 3 and Carlos Cabral bailed out at the last minute. And what it was is that YR was supposed to go live on his channel with you guys. And then he was the one advertising, hey, let's do a live show on YouTube tonight. Then just before I got off work, I get a call from YR, you guys there, but I wasn't able to answer because I was cleaning up and such. So then I get home, I find out that YR ghosted you guys. So I figure, you know what? Let's go live on my channel with you dudes. So as I was setting everything up, Paul 3 decides to back down, and then Carlos backs down first. So I figure, it's just you and I, Prince. So it's been a
Yeah,
while
it's
since I did a live
we have
stream.
done shows together. I'm a former co-host of a wrestling podcast. His name was
Hmm.
Sean's View Entertainment. So I'm
Yep.
experienced on holding my own. So I was
Hmm.
like, if anyone can co-host a show with Earl, it would be me because I'm a former co-host in my own right, and I've
Hmm.
done many shows of my own in my own right. So
That's
that's why
right.
I
That's
said,
true
do
there.
this.
That is
I'm
true.
my own producer. I'm my own producer. So I was like, you know what? Let's do this.
All right
Takes
there.
two captains to fly a plane.
I
You know
know
what I
it
mean?
does. That's for true there. That's very true. Now, like I said, we're going to record the show on my Skype just in case any issues come about during the live stream. But for some dumb reason, there's a lot of lagging. I get one of these notices on the live streaming tab saying, warning, YouTube is not receiving enough video, blah, blah, blah. I've had that issue a couple times with previous computers, and I've had it a couple times with this computer. I don't know what the hell is wrong. I'm sick and tired of I'm getting fucking tired of it, to be honest with you, because I like to have a good show with no issues, no problems. But unfortunately, I don't know what it is, man. I probably got to do some updating on my OBS. Well, it updated a couple nights ago, but I got to keep setting, how many KPBs, or I got to adjust the things in the settings column of the OBS.
Right.
A lot of issues here and there, left and right. So, and that pisses me off.
Have you
So
ever tried doing what YR is doing everything on StreamYard? But
we
StreamYard
did
is
well the last
what
time I
everyone's
did.
doing now.
Well, I was on StreamYards on YR's program last week. We were talking about the attempted assassination on Trump.
Yes, yes.
So that was about it. The last time I was on StreamYards was many weeks back with me and Dave Rose. We were doing Music Maniacs together, talking about the supposed Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But that was probably
Oh,
the last.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I want to get you my thoughts on that on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame of this year. The lineup is so brilliant. I heard Mary J. Blige, Cher,
Hmm.
and my boy
Yes,
Lenny Kravitz is in there. My boy Lenny Kravitz. So I'm
I
very
know.
happy. I'm
I
very
know.
happy.
That's. I know. I know. I think you call. I think it kind of debated us in the. I think if somebody had debated us, I think it may have been not you, but somebody else debating us in the chat, saying how Mary J. Blige is, how could she not be inducted, and such. Well, the reason we said that was because Mary J. Blige is R&B, one of the original New Jack Swing singers that came out in the early 90s.
Right.
And we're talking about rock and roll bands like a long hair guitars like Judas Priest, MC5, Iron Maiden,
Well, they
bands like
said that
Yes.
I heard people say the same thing about Lenny Kravitz, saying he's R&B. I was like, it's
No,
fucking
he is definitely
Kravitz.
rock and roll with mix. He's definitely rock and roll for sure. No
Yeah,
doubt about it. He
yeah.
shows it in his guitar playing, his music, his cover of American Woman, the Guess Who tune, and many other songs. I Go to Go My Way, Let
My
Love
way.
Rule, hmm
Yeah.
Mr.
He's
Cab
more of that. He's
Driver.
more of that like a bohemian. They call it bohemian, laid back hippie,
Yeah, pretty much here. Yes. And did you ever check out the
like a
ads he did for
Shakespeare
that
type of
one
guy.
cologne?
Say again.
He did a couple. I remember a couple times at the mall that I used to go to,
Yeah, I
in the
actually have
town
that. I
center.
actually have that cologne on me.
You
I
know,
actually have it.
you know what? I want to get one of these days. I'm going to order me that Metal for Men that KK Downing from Judas Priest had available a couple
Oh,
years back. I want to know if that's still available by chance because I've been itching to try that out sometime when I start going back to the castle and going out in the afternoons on my days off.
oh, wow,
Mm. Yeah, I heard about this years back after he left Judas Priest.
wow.
Yeah.
I usually wear like a lot of colognes like Gucci and Ralph Lauren and Polo and Y Parfum, YSL by
Hmm.
Lenny Kravitz, and I love wearing DR, the one by Johnny Depp. That's the one I
Oh
wearing.
yeah, that's it. I
I
saw.
love
Remember
DR.
that commercial?
Johnny
I
Depp.
dig that. I dig the guitar that he is playing in that commercial. By the way,
Bro, yes, yes, that guitar
mm,
is sick. It's beautiful.
it is. Yes, definitely. For some reason, I've had this infatuation with vintage hollow body guitars, like an old
Same, bro.
Ibanez or a old
Same.
Guild, because for some reason I've been itching to play one of those because I remember seeing the video for Love Removal Machine by the Cult, and I was like, you know what? I love that guitar that he's playing, the Gretsch White Falcon. That is most unique because it's a heavy rock song, and usually people associate Gretsch guitars with rockabilly, 60s music like the
My
Beatles, Rolling Stones, such and such. But when I
my
saw
dream
that guitar,
guitar, I don't know
hmm
if you know or not to cut you off. My dream guitar is by the lead guitar player in the Revolution of Prince. What's her name? Wendy.
Wendy Melvoin,
Wendy.
yes,
Yeah, Wendy
the
White.
the
That white
purple
pearly guitar she had. Oh my God, I love that
white
guitar.
pearly guitar. Mm.
That white guitar she had, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called a Vender. I think it's Vendercaster or something like that. Yeah, the Vendercaster.
Fender Stradico. One I remember she played most of the
Yes.
time was a purple Rickenbacker guitar.
Yes, that one too. I love that one. But the white
Mhm.
one, the Vindicator, that is my dream guitar. I love it because it's pearly white and it has gold. I think it's gold for pellets. Yeah, gold for
Mhm.
pellets on it, and it's
And
just
does
it's
it have
just
that thing
iconic,
above the
beautiful guitar.
neck? Does it have that little thing up above the neck of the guitar where you can hang things on it like such and such? If that's one you're
Yes, yes.
referred to, I know which guitar you're talking about. That is one
So
sick ass
beautiful,
looking guitar, yes.
so beautiful.
Probably
I love that
expensive
guitar.
as hell, no doubt.
It is.
Hmm.
I think it's
No
made
doubt.
by I want to say Gibson, but I'm not sure.
I don't think it's made by Gibson. Gibson has their own brand. When I came this close years back when I was involved with my girlfriend back in the 2000, 1999. We was at a flea market and I saw this Steinberger guitar, and I was so interested in it. But the problem was, it going to require some repairs done on it. I figured, probably sometime later on I'll probably get it. And
Right.
unfortunately, I was never able to get it because I did believe it was sold the next time I went up to the spot at that flea market, which is a bummer because I always wanted to try a Steinberger guitar. I always did. You know,
Me personally, another guitar that I just love. I love the acoustic guitar that late great Elvis Presley had. That acoustic
oh
guitar
yeah.
he was known for. I want one like it.
Really? What's I want to know? You have a YouTube channel of your own by chance?
Yes, I do. I just don't go live on it.
Oh man, you got to post some videos of yourself displaying your musical talent like I do at times, where it's a
Yes.
techno set, dark ambient set, or just playing guitar. Definitely got to do that. That would gain your recognition for sure.
Yes. My music taste is just like having a great wine taste. It's a good selection, no matter what.
And one of these days, I'm going to probably do me a guitar playing video. I'm just figure out what kind of style I want to do it. I've been thinking about doing something like a bluesy number. What I do is that I probably have to do is what I usually do a couple of times is record it on my other phone and then just play it and then play along with it and record it as I'm doing it. That's how I did it with the Planet Caravan cover that I have many months back.
Right.
That's right. So I'm thinking about possibly doing something like that in the future.
Wow.
Other than that, I know one of the things we wanted to talk about was Joe Biden. I know YR was was on big on that subject. Bob Ken was big on that subject this past Sunday night when it was
It's
announced.
been the talk of the town lately.
Well, it's been a talk of the town, along with Kamala Harris taking his
Oh,
position to run for president.
okay.
You think she'll win, or you think Donald Trump's got this by a landslide?
Uh, from what's happened to Trump and everybody going crazy for Trump, I think he might have it by a landslide. I think he got everyone behind him. I mean,
You know,
a lot of celebrities are behind him too.
a
All of
lot of people
Hollywood.
are sure because the people, and I think now people are realizing what a how foul the Democrat Party has become for the past couple of years with the things that have been going on with Biden, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, her husband Bill. I
Hmm.
mean, there's so much things been going on. I mean, like you see all these Democrat politicians, advocating for pronouns. I mean, like for example, I mentioned this a couple of times. My home state of Michigan, the governor there, Gretchen Whitmer, sh- they passed a law over there where it's illegal to misuse or mispronounce pronouns. We could face jail time or a heavy ass fine. Now, to everybody else who doesn't understand pronouns, let alone use them, this is like a big slap in the face because people my age, we only know is he and she, and that's about it. Instead of this, a they, them, or this and that, it just makes no sense. It's like, how many times, how much more do they have to twist everything around to suit their agendas? I'm like, geez, gay men and women have rights now. Black people have rights. Animal rights has been big for how many years? It's like, how much more can they demand? How much more do they want? I mean, like, geez, is once not enough? You gotta have more. It's like that's what it seems like to my eyes and ears,
Right.
and it makes me because it's like it's overdone, it's overplayed. I mean, like, yeah, we understand that you have a voice as well. Yeah, we get that you have a right to speak. I never denied your right to speak. Just don't go overboard and just trail over everything with your agendas. Don't shove your agendas down everybody's throat. And that's what it looks like to me with this law they have in Michigan. You know, do not misuse or mispronounce mispronounce pronouns, or you'll be fined a heavy set of money, and you'll face jail time just as well. It's like that's going overboard. In fact, that's
Um,
probably one of the big reasons why I don't think I could go back to Michigan, even for a visit. Plus, Michigan, though, the Michigan I remembered was way on the downslope because it was took how many I was unemployed for a year and a half up until I got involved with this temp service for a few months. Then I got the invite to move to Texas with my sister and brother-in-law and oldest nephew, which I'm still grateful for this very day for doing this. I still love them both for doing that, getting me out of that state. But just, it was, I wonder sometimes how Michigan is doing nowadays, economic wise. I know I've asked a couple of times how it's been doing, but I haven't been really able to get a straight answer because Michigan is mostly a blue state. And a lot of times I've witnessed, and I told Chauncey this when I called in on his show that one time, blue blue states seem to not do well when it comes to economics or progressing, whereas red states is able to get things going with the heartbeat.
I noticed that when I moved from Georgia to Texas, I was like, holy shit. Like,
I
I'm
know,
in
yeah.
trouble. It
I know,
affected me
yeah.
financially really bad. But, I managed to pick up the pieces because Texas had a lot to offer that Georgia didn't have. So I've made a great living living in Texas now.
All right. So is Texas a blue state by chance?
I don't think so. I think it's a red state. If I'm not mistaken.
Hmm. Because I know Florida, right where I'm residing right now, is considered a purple state, red and blue mixed together. Even though the governor we have, Ron
Purple.
DeSantis, he is, yeah, pretty. It's like a mixture of blue and red.
Mm,
Basically, it's on both sides equally.
mm.
But our governor, Ron DeSantis, is definitely red. He's a Republican for sure. In fact, he was one of the first people to state that Kamala Harris is not a good choice to run for president. So, what do you think? Do you think so? You think it was a bad choice for Kamala Harris to be
Didn't have
involved
a
in
choice.
running for president? She did what again?
She has to run because the main president stepped down, so that makes her president. That's how it works. Remember,
Or
she's the vice
president?
president. So if something happens to the main president, she'll be next in line regardless, because that's how it works.
But you know
It's
what?
like in
This
companies,
was
if the manager resigns, the next person in line would be the vice boss.
mhm. Which is no surprise because you remember Fama Ken spoke about this many times on his program. He said with Biden's faltering with his words, his speeches, his movements, people assuming that he's demented or something. They're predicting they're going to probably try to ease him out and get Kamala in his position. And I think that's almost coming true right now. Only problem is she has to win the vote of all the people. But with all the things that's been going on within the Democrat Party, chances are Trump is going to, as we said before, win by a landslide, no doubt. He'll most likely trample over her like he trampled over Hillary Clinton. Now, we have yet to hear Hillary Clinton make a statement about this decision from Kamala Harris running for president. And I uploaded a video last night suggesting that if they're going to get someone, a woman, to run for president, they need someone with a lot of backbone, with a lot of strength. And you heard of the character Olivia Benson, right, from Law and Order SVU?
Yes.
Yes. Notice how tough as nails she is when it comes to getting the bad guys off the street, all the murderers, the rapists, the pedos. But yet she still shows some compassion for moments when it needed, like to her son Noah, to some of her members of her squad when they're in desperate situation, like she did with Ice-T's character Finn.
Yeah.
That's the kind of woman president we need, with a lot of toughness, a lot of backbone. Not someone who says we need to rule with compassion,
Care,
because too
care.
many people, yeah,
It's gonna
too,
be like a motherly but tough love role. You mean?
exactly. That's what we need, folks. That's what we mostly need.
I agree.
Because
And the only person, I don't know why I'm bringing her up. The only person I saw that got close to doing that was Michelle Obama. Everyone wanted her to run for president. And if we wanted a great opponent for Kamala Harris, that would be Michelle Obama. Because I know if she ran, she'll win by a landslide because it's Michelle Obama, of course.
we're glad.
And she's
But then
smart.
you get,
She's a
yeah,
very
but
smart woman.
yeah, but is she also equipped to lead a nation? That's the thing, is you got to have, because you remember, to it takes a lot of skills, a lot of patience, a lot of determination when you're a U.S. president, because the world's going to be looking at you, not just the American public, to get things done, whether it's protecting the borders, providing jobs for every single human in the USA there, whether it's trying to settle the welfare
That
problems, trying to
guy
get
was
up, set
one
up
heck of a
job
fighter.
training and such.
He fell off. I mean, he was like former vice president turning into president. Joe, like, what the hell happened? I mean, he went in there running things very smoothly, and then as we get to the very end, he just started fucking up, and I'm like, what the hell, man? What happened to you?
I think it's dementia. I think he's coming down with a big case of dementia. That's what it is. Because a lot of
That's
times he's been
yeah,
showing a lot of signs of that. And I've seen dementia before.
right.
I've seen how it works. I mean, like the fact that he's slurring his words, having trouble walking, let alone sniffing children's hair to get high for the shampoo. It's like, I think that's what it is. I think that's probably what it is. And members of the Democrat Party are realizing that. They were just waiting for the right time to make that suggestion, to telling him to step down. I mean, like the way he got trampled by Trump during that first debate. Even Donald Trump was like, I have not understand one word that this man has said.
That
And
was
everybody watching that debate noticed as well. In fact, it's fits to say that Biden's slurring, faltering has been the topic of many jokes for the past couple of years.
yes.
In fact, you may remember this when he first got into office. The cost of getting gas for our automobiles went right through the roof, and people were blaming him for it. I remember seeing stickers on gas pumps with Biden with his finger pointed out, saying, "I did this." People have been assuming that he was to blame for all that. That may be so, but also keep in mind, and I think I remember pointing this out before. If not, I'll point it out here, that this was in 2021, a year before we were struck with this big ass pandemic. Everything had to shut down. Oil rigs, grocery stores, shopping malls, you name it. Only a few places were open, like eateries, restaurants, and such, but you had to do things a little bit different, mostly takeout. I mean, like, I had to stay home throughout almost every day of the week. Thank goodness YR contacted me about doing a music show, and because I would have
Right.
gone completely nuts. In fact, I'll give credit to YR for coming up with the idea of doing Music Maniacs, or Metal Maniacs as it was known at that time, because we were able to, I was able to actually pass some times, look for topics to talk about, also hang out on other shows like the programs he had come up with, plus with Real as Fuck TV when I was friends with Vikings fan. So I was doing a lot of shows. I even did a couple shows at Junebug there during that year. Oh, by the way, I hope he comes back to the scene pretty soon, because God knows it's been a while since we heard from him. In fact, I'm surprised Ken is not on the call right now, but he's probably got to get up in the morning, most likely. But
Okay.
going back to the conversation, you got to remember the following year when everything was opening up, they lost a lot of revenue. So I think the increase of the prices in the grocery stores, nightclubs, I think that was done, especially with the gas, that was done to get back the revenue that they lost in the year before. So I think that possibly may be one of the big cases here.
Right.
Right. All right,
That was,
there. Go ahead. I
so
don't
that
want
was
to.
horrendous. How the gas prices and food prices went up and everything got real crazy.
I know. It's like
It's almost like we were in a pandemic that was worse than the actual pandemic.
I know exactly. People were paranoid. And you know what? Here's something else I got to point out. I caught COVID-19 during the summer of 2022.
Right.
I was able to overcome it in a couple of days. Then again, I had the vaccine placed in me, or I got the vaccine in me. My
Hmm.
brother-in-law and sister later got the COVID-19 after me. They didn't get the vaccine, and they were
You
able to
know what's
recover.
crazy? You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I never got the vaccine and I never got sick.
You were lucky. And I think the deaths that all these news reports were talking about were mostly elderly people with physical conditions, whether it's arthritis or lung issues or possibly osteomyelitis or whatever other conditions that they have when they reach a certain age.
If
So
you
I'm
don't,
thinking that's probably what
if you
it
don't mind me
was.
saying, if you don't mind me saying, a friend of mine said this to me. Um, I don't know if it's true or not, but during the time of COVID, um, I lost my mom due to COVID.
I
But
know. Yes, I remember that whole scenario.
yeah, but a friend of mine said the reason why you probably didn't catch it. He said, Prince, you were dabbling in a lot of ganja. He was smoking, and yeah, he was doing the good drug, doing the body right. So it
The
was kind of
weed.
hard for you to catch it. Yeah, yeah. He said you were before COVID hit. I was working, and I was just on a new fasting journey where I was eating a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables, and working out. So I was basically fasting because the religious I was in had me fasting. I was trying to be I think I was getting into like trying to be a Muslim and stuff like that, and they had
Mm.
me fasting. So when COVID hit, I was already on a strict diet, working out, eating right. And everyone around me, like my friends and family, they caught it and they got sick. And I just kind of like, because I was always outdoors and always doing different things, honestly, I don't think I had any chance to be around it because I was always outdoors around like sunlight and, nature. And like I said,
Hmm.
smoking ganja. And it's just, I think because I was moving my body muscles and just being active, it was hard for me to catch it because if your body, from what I was told, if your body's active and you're moving the blood cells and you're just being active, it's going to fight it naturally because your body is just in that zone of fighting because you're staying active. So that's, I feel like I didn't catch it because I was being active during that period of my life.
It was kind of, I was very active during many times during that whole period. I was out
Sick.
walking, riding bikes, and well, of course, I had a little mask with me at times in case I
Yeah,
needed
yeah.
to go in to get something there. But I was able to do a lot of walking. There was a few times I called in on Ken's program on the Saturday night. I was in the middle of this empty parking lot near one of the places that we lived by back in the location in Texas.
Hmm.
So I was able to keep myself active. Plus, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do
Yeah.
drugs. I haven't had any I don't recall the last time I had a swig of alcohol. So basically, I try to take care of myself as much as I can. So that kind of helped along
But
me
it's
when I
weird
caught
because
COVID 19.
that's weird. It's weird, but
Mhm.
honestly, with me is someone told me is because you were cleansing, so it's different. How could you catch something if you're cleansing your body? You're cleansing your body of germs. You were cleansing. You were in a cleansing stage. So they told me how in the hell are you going to catch it if you're in that cleansing stage of trying to make be healthy. I literally isolated myself from people who had it. So
Yeah,
because I was cleansing my body during that time. Boy, oh boy, was I skinny during that year. I was skinny as hell.
yeah,
It was bad. But
I know it. I know.
people thought I was sick because I was so skinny. I said, no, I'm just in a cleansing state of like on a strict diet, strict food plan.
I know they always presume that when you lose a lot of weight, they're thinking either he's got AIDS or he's got the condition because we're so used to seeing this individual in the old shape that he was. That comes along with it. They did the same thing with Luther Vandross when he lost a lot of weight during the middle of the 80s. I remember reading about that in the paper.
Because someone's on a strict diet and a food plan and cleansing stage, their spirit, mind, and soul, they assume you're on AIDS. What the hell?
I know that. Well, remember, this is around 1986 when that disease was running rapid across the states and the whole wide world. So you remember, AIDS was the big thing to talk about, whereas AIDS and HIV, that was that was the big thing back in the 80s and 90s because so many people had died from that disease, including Freddie Mercury, porn star John Holmes, actor Anthony Perkins. Almost said Anthony Hopkins. Like, no, he's still alive. What am I talking about? Tony Perkins, I should say, the star of Psycho. Ray Sharkey, another actor who passed away. Of course, we cannot forget Rock Hudson.
Yeah. When I
Yeah.
was on that strict food plan, I remember eating like sandwiches, like carbs, like pasta and
Mm.
lasagna. For snack, I remember like eating like popcorn, like anything light, like very light foods, like popcorn with no butter or salt, like just like I mean, Earl, when I tell you like flavorless pop, I mean like the most bland popcorn you can imagine.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
it
funny.
would
Yeah,
suck.
that's
It sucked. Can you imagine
really.
eating popcorn with no butter, no salt? This is bland.
Well, I don't. Well, I like pasta. I like lasagna, spaghetti. Always dig that. So I don't really have an issue with pasta, but once in a while I like to have a little something different. But then again, when it comes to taking care of yourself when you're on a strict diet, you can't help but to follow those rules.
I remember eating like rice cakes that were bland too, like no sugar on it. It was like it was horrible for me.
I've never had a rice cake, believe it or not. I know that I remember seeing lots of them at one of the grocery chains I worked at back in Michigan. You had different flavors like chocolate, I know that was one of the big ones. You ever tried the chocolate flavored rice cake?
Yes, I have. I've seen the chocolate one and the vanilla ones, but my favorite one is the caramel cinnamon ones. I love the caramel cinnamon ones.
I remember
I
seeing
would
those as well, to come to think of
I
it.
would get the caramel cinnamon ones, and when I would put like regular peanut butter on it. It's so good.
Not into peanut butter. I never cared for it. Never did.
Yes.
You know?
Crunchy and peanut buttery, and it's got the little caramel and cinnamon taste to it. Oh God, so good. Good snack to
Mhm.
have. Very good snack. I highly recommend it. You should try it.
All right. Well,
Along with that,
oops.
actually,
Go ahead.
I usually eat it for breakfast. I would have a cinnamon caramel rice cake with peanut butter on top, and then on the side, I would have a cut up peanut butter and banana sandwich. Yeah.
Mm, I see
Yep.
there.
Toasted, by the way, toasted on the bread. It's like Elvis. Good.
Oh gosh,
It
man,
had, it
did
had yeah, it's not good unless it has that crunch. You gotta have the finest crunch on it.
mm. Speaking of Elvis, I remember this is probably one of the biggest rumors in rock and roll because I wanted to when Ark Noya comes back, hopefully very, very soon, because I miss working with the guy. I know why R's been asking about him. Even SC was asking about him. The
Hmm.
big question is, The thing I wanted to do was, I think we may have did an episode on this feature, but we'd like to talk about. I think we already did. One of the big rumors and stories in rock and roll was a rumor that Elvis Presley is still alive. He faked his own death to get away from the spotlight.
So
The
they
same
say.
thing that, yeah, they say, and they said the same thing about Jim Morrison, saying that he faked his death because to get away from the courts, the issues of what happened in Miami around that year. You
The
know the
same thing about
story of what
Michael
happened.
Jackson too.
Really, the one
Hmm.
I'm not surprised. A lot of people try to make a buck off his name, most likely. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I remember talking about this with Danny MT on one of our shows one time. Do you think Michael Jackson did molest those kids that stayed
No,
over at his ranch?
no, no.
You don't believe so?
I think they put rumors on him. They defamation of his character because they wanted money from him. Because Michael was owning a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have owned, like him owning Sony, him
Hmm.
owning the Beatles catalog,
Yeah.
and he also wanted to own Marvel
Oh yeah.
Studios. Yeah,
Wow.
and Prince
Interesting there.
wanted to own because it was connected. Prince, the reason why they got him is because he didn't want to give people. I mean, they gave him his masters back. That's what he wanted. Warner
Hmm.
Brother gave him back, but what Warner Brother really wanted from him was the unreleased music he had in his vault. And
Hmm.
on top of that, along with him not releasing his music, Prince was bidding for DC comics and stuff like that because it was connected to Warner Brother. Anyway, so
That's
he,
true
he,
there. All the
he was
Batman
bidding for that,
movies.
and then they didn't like that how he wanted to own certain things that Warner Brother didn't want him to have because he had a very nasty relationship with Warner Brother. So Warner
Yeah,
Brother
it's
said,
true.
why should we? The argument was, why should we allow you to have that when you basically outed us by putting slave on your cheek and making us look like a fool? So we were nice enough to give you back ownership of your music, to give you back your masters, but now you're asking more than you can chew. Like you're basically doing the most by saying, "Hey, not only do I want my masters, I also want this, and this." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no. We'll gladly give you your masters back, but if you want us to give you all this other stuff, can you at least give us in return the unreleased music in your vault?" And he was like, "Oh, hell no, hell no."
Wow.
He didn't trust them. He didn't trust them.
Yeah, well,
And yeah,
I think the issue stemmed years back when he prior to him changing his name to that symbol back around
yes.
1993. I think the problem was is that Warner Brothers was expecting him to come out with hit after hit after hit after hit, like they did with When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, 1999, Little Red Corvette, Kiss, so many they were expecting him to keep that trait going. That's one thing about record companies. When you have a successful few albums like Purple Rain 1999, Parade, Sign of the Times, they expect you to keep that pace going and going and going. And sooner or later, it's going to wear out the artist. It's going to wear out the band. It's going to be like, geez, what are we, a human jukebox? It's gonna they wouldn't want to do something different. They're gonna want to do something, out of the ordinary. But the record label is like, no, we cannot have that. We need the
Oh,
hits.
I have
The
some.
hits, they do that.
I actually have some breaking news
Hmm.
on something that happened when I on my birthday when I was in Vegas when I actually got a chance to meet Prince's wife. She
Yeah.
actually took me up. She actually took me up on my idea of turning her book. It's called My Most Beautiful Life with Prince. Her book, her
Hmm.
memoir.
Yes.
In a recent interview, I was happy because I watched it on YouTube here on YouTube, and I commented in the chat, "Did you take my idea?" And she said no. In the second interview, the second night of the interview, she confirmed that she did take my idea, and she said she
Mm.
has seen the movie because and when I was in Vegas, I was in love with Elvis, and I told her out of nowhere because I just got through seeing an Elvis tribute show in Vegas.
Hmm.
I asked her, "Have you seen the movie, the biopic movie with Austin Butler and Tom Hanks, Elvis?"
Mm.
She
Mm.
said no, and I said on top of that, I think you should see the movie of Priscilla,
Mm,
and she did. And it turns out the people that produced the Elvis Presley biopic with Austin Butler and Tom Hanks, and the
hmm
people who made Priscilla reached out to her, and they're going to turn her book, same thing they did with Priscilla, they're going to turn her book into a movie. So
mm,
Maite Garcia, former wife of Prince, is going to have her book into a movie. So I'm
interesting.
and
All right,
we're
interesting
working
there.
on, they're going to be working on the biopic movie of Prince. It's hard to find a guy of that statue and size and that larger than life, figure. But they're trying to turn it into a movie. And I was like, that's pretty cool. But they just don't
I
know
see.
what actor can play Prince and what actor is that height. Because Prince was like 5'2", large stature. And it's hard to find a person that's 5'2" with a big personality. So that's going to be hard for an actor to play that role. You know what I mean? That's big shoes to fulfill.
That's true. That is very true. It's kind of hard to find someone to resemble the person that they're portraying. Like, you remember there was a biopic with Andre 3000 from the rap group Outkast portraying Jimi Hendrix.
Yes, yes.
But the thing was, he didn't really have Hendrix's voice down pat. He had the looks, but however, the voice that Andre had, he had to do more to resemble Jimi Hendrix's talking voice.
Yes. Same thing
Now,
with because Prince has a very deep voice.
I remember, yes, that is true. Whenever he spoke in the few interviews that he would do
He
throughout
always
the
spoke with
'90s
that.
after changing his
Always
name.
spoke with a twang, like it's always good to be here, and I'm
Yeah.
honored to be here. Like he always spoke like yeah. He was probably tell you, "Hey, Earl Brown, it's good to meet you. I'm
hmm
Prince Patrick Nelson. Nice to meet you, Earl Brown." Like he always had that tone, quiet voice.
yes. What's kind of sad is that it would have been nice to see Prince reunite with his old group, The Revolution,
Actually,
for that last tour.
it was crazy. Since I know people in that circle, from what I was told, they don't know what happened to him. No one ever told him what really happened.
You know
And
what's kind of you know what's kind
Lisa
of
and
funny.
Wendy don't still to this day don't really know what happened to him. That's crazy, ain't it?
I know it's like you like it was kind of funny is that a couple of times I spoke with Minnesota Silverware Hunter, rest in peace to you, buddy. He said that the Lunanami were trying to get Prince to join their ranks, but Prince
Yes.
refused many
Yes.
times. And so,
If you
so the Lunanami's idea was like, if you don't join us, then you must perish. And I'm thinking
yes, that
that
is true.
may have been the issue there.
That is true. Not trying to scare anyone, but that is true. Prince didn't join it because he was Jehovah Witness. That's why.
That's
He
true.
couldn't
He
join it.
was. He did convert to that, which explained why he didn't perform any of his explicit songs like "Head" or
That's
"Sister"
the same reason
on
why
the
he was
album.
not pain because he only had one hip surgery way before he became a Jehovah Witness. But the reason why he didn't have the second hip surgery because Jehovah Witness people they don't believe in giving blood transfusion.
Oh, that's right. Like they don't believe in celebrating birthdays or holidays.
Right. Right. So that's why Prince was in a lot of pain and he was taking a lot of pills because his hip was killing him, but he didn't want to get the second surgery because he needed that blood transfusion, which is against his religion.
Oh, really? It's like, would you agree that the Jehovah's Witness religion altogether needs to be questioned?
I don't want to get into it because I have a family member who is Jehovah
Well,
Witness. I don't even
I
want.
see there. Well, okay, we'll let that alone for the time
I mean,
being there.
I grew up Christian, Jesus
Mm,
Christ, but some of my
So would
family
I.
ran astray into being Jehovah's, being Catholic, being Muslim, and it's just, I try to be, keep my tongue quiet on situations like that because I don't want to offend anybody.
Mm. I
Because
know you
people are
say one
sensitive and
thing and everybody gets upset
sensitive. People are very
right there.
sensitive
I
in that
know,
area.
very, very sensitive. I think why do you think people are so sensitive nowadays? Is it because how they were raised or how what they grew up learning from the 90s? Because the 1990s was mostly a sensitive decade when you think about it. You can't say this, can't say that. I'm offended by this, I'm offended by that. And I think
Yes.
that all just took way too much to the next level in the 2000s, up to the point that we're in right now.
Yes, it's
Yeah, I
because
agree.
certain people believe, what they want to believe in, and they feel like you're attacking them when you
Hmm.
say certain things that are different from their understanding or different from the scripture that they read and what they were taught. So it's like
Yeah,
they think
that's
it's a
how they were raised.
competition, or it's like they think it's competition. Oh, you're you say you're a Christian, well, I'm Jehovah. You say you're Jehovah, well, I'm Muslim. You say you're Muslim, I'm Catholic. If I'm Catholic, then I'm like, what's the other one? Like if you're Catholic,
Catholic,
Muslim,
Muslim, Hindu.
yeah, Hindu. It's like they think they see it as competition when really it's not competition. But I always said the true way to the kingdom of heaven is through Jesus Christ. And people are like, no, no,
I
no, no,
agree.
no.
I
But it's
agree.
true. It says
I
right in the Bible.
agree. I think,
Jesus
babe.
said, what?
I think one of the big reasons why people were skeptical about Jesus is because of all the things that went on within the televangelist spectrums, the letdowns that people have experienced in the past. Like, let me give you an example. There's a song by Metallica called "The God That Failed." That was written about James Hetfield's mom, who passed away from cancer when he was 16 years old. Apparently, due to her Christian beliefs, or which I guess she was one of those, Christian Scientist beliefs, or those strict beliefs that God will solve any problem within a snap of the fingers, whether it's diabetes or back pain or some fatal disease. Due to those strict Christian values that she held on to, she refused any surgery, any chemotherapy, and as a result, she ended up passing away. And this caused a lot of conflict within Mr. Hetfield, and as a result, he wrote the song "The God That Failed." I mean, so many times we hear about people,
No. Not to not
go
to
ahead.
uh not to scare anybody. I'm not that type of person. But recently I was in a conversation on Discord about the same conversation we're having now.
Hmm.
And a knucklehead, I'm not going to give any name, but a knucklehead said there's no, he doesn't believe in God. I mean, he was, one of those type of people. He said God is what's within you. You're a God. You have to tap into your higher power and like, zodiac signs and all that weird stuff.
Yeah, no, no.
I
There's only God with God Himself.
Yeah, I said there is a heaven and hell, and he said prove it, prove it. I said, well, I can. I actually can prove it. I said, he was like, there's no such thing as Satan. There's no such thing as God. So I proved to him what Christ is. And he said, then there's no devil. I said, oh, there is. There is. And I explained to
Yes.
him, devil was
Most likely, the person you spoke to may have been an atheist because atheists don't
yeah,
believe in neither.
had to be. Had to be. It was
Yep.
weird. It was so weird. But what I proved to him is it's a song that they say was written by Satan himself. And that
Mhm.
is the song, Please Elias, Introduce Myself. That song
Oh
by
yeah. The Rolling Stones, "Sympathy for the Devil."
yeah, that one and Coldplay's used to rule the world.
Mm.
If you look up
You
the
mean
lyrics,
Viva la Vita? That's the name of the song.
I think it is, yeah, where he
Yes,
goes,
I've heard it
used
many
to
times.
rule the world.
Yep, I know
And
what you're talking about.
I said, if you really look at the lyrics of that song, yeah, it's kind of dark.
Hmm. It's
So
kind
no
of
one knows
funny that
that.
song. It's
A
kind of
lot of
funny.
songs,
That's
go back and just take the time and actually look at the lyrics, you'll learn something.
mhm. It's kind of funny that Coldplay song a lot of times got radio airplay on the soft rock circuits. Many
I
times,
did.
I believe they still do to this day. But then again, Coldplay is one of those bands that appeal to the mom rock crowd. Needless to
Yeah.
say, along with Nickelback and this other Sheryl Crow or Melissa Etheridge.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so they're probably unaware, and most of these people are mainstreamers. And like I said to Jacob RP one time, mainstreamers only know what is spoon fed to them.
That is true. That is true.
More than that's what Jacob RP said. It's just as well. All
He
right.
only but it's spoon fed to him. That's crazy.
Yes. I think the problem is, so many people within the mainstream realm so just, are just spoon fed everything. They go by what's trending, to go by what's popular, to go by what's hip or what isn't hip, whether it's, gosh, I remember many times back in Numbers nightclub when they used to go there on Friday evenings when they have classic numbers. Remember
Right.
seeing so many people with the man buns, the stretch out earlobes with the gauges in them, with the black heavy rimmed glasses. So it's like, what are these guys, hipsters or what?
Right.
Most likely hipsters because those things were the hip things around that time. But they're not realizing the issues with gouging your ears or what is it called? The gouging your earlobes out, stretching them out to look like Dumbo the elephant.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that. I used
Neither
to
do
be,
I.
but it looks kind of disgusting after a while.
It is. I guess understand you want to do something different, like the body modification shit there. But here's the thing. It gets to the point where you have to modify everything. It's like how many lip rings you have in your mouth, how many tongue piercings,
Many
how
people
many
don't know this.
gauges you have. Go ahead.
The whole gauges and lip rings that came from, and I'm not trying to be funny, but that came from my line of race, came from like way back in
Yes, I
Africa.
remember that exactly. They just the people out there here in the states took it upon themselves to copy all that, and I've seen a few of those. I know what you're talking about exactly.
In
One
Africa,
thing
they did it
I'm
in Africa.
one thing I'm praying they do not do is they put those things in your bottom lip, stretching them all out though to hell.
The plate in your lip.
Yeah, exactly. Like I pray nobody does that. I pray nobody here in the states even attempts to even do that. Because
Oh man, you just
you know how dumb they would look if they take that plate out with their bottom lip hanging out onto the floor. Gosh, dude, give me a break. It's like everything's going overboard, left and right, right and left. It's like, yeah, I understand you want to be different, but nowadays everybody's trying to follow along, and that's not being different. I think I'm being more different now by not following all those certain trends.
can you imagine YR with a plate in his mouth like that?
Oh gosh, dude. We got to get a hold of YR to see if he is doing any music shows with you and I possibly
Yeah.
later, possibly tomorrow night or Thursday evening. It's been a while since we did any of that. I got a couple of
Right.
good topics in mind. Like we could
Right.
talk about
That's the thing.
infidelity in songs and then the
Right.
rock star lifestyle. That's a good topic I like to discuss sometime.
Me, honestly, I think that whole plate in your mouth is ridiculous.
I
It's
know,
that's
but then again, I'm not Brazilian, let alone African, so any other country. So I'm thinking it's part of a tradition that they have over
it
there.
is. It is.
I just don't know what it's
Maybe
about
it's someone else
altogether.
do that for like fashion or for style. That's just stupid.
Yeah. All right, there. So, have you watched any AEW shows as of late, or any wrestling?
Yes, I have.
All right.
I'm
So,
getting.
what
I
do
mean,
you think?
I'm a fan. Even though I've been watching him from the Indies, I'm liking what they're doing with the Bloodline with the Jacob Fatu. I like it. I like it a lot.
Jacob Fatu joining the new bloodline with Solo Sakota as the new tribal chief.
Jacob Fatu
You
really
think
interesting.
you think that possibly Roman I'm thinking maybe Roman Reigns will get wind of this and he'll come back from whatever he's doing. I guess he's taking care of his leukemia issue at the moment. He'll come back and then he'll strike a
He's
war
trying to
against Solo Sikoa.
off of his father too.
Yes,
He's trying
I
to
know
recover
that.
that.
Yes, one of the wild Samoans. Yes, I remember hearing about that. Very
So,
sad. And of course,
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe possibly we could see Brock Lesnar reunite with Paul Heyman after
Uh,
what the members of the Bloodline did
I
to
don't want to
him.
see Brock reunite with Paul. I do want to see Punk reunite with Paul more than anything.
Hmm. Maybe Paul Heyman can form an alliance with Brock and CM Punk. That'd be most interesting. They could take on the Bloodline or the new current Bloodline lineup, along with maybe Roman Reigns in their
Yeah.
corner. That'd be most interesting. Reigns could be like,
Also,
who do you to
Paul
call
Heyman has
yourself the tribal
some of
chief?
the greatest superstars, starting from a Rob Van Dam, Jericho. He has managed even what was he managed? I think he managed Bam Bam Bigelow back in the day as well.
I think so, yeah. Paul Heyman, yes. I remember first heard of him from the Dangerous Alliance back when he was involved with the NWA, when he was
Yeah.
known as Paul E. Dangerously, when he had Medusa Maselli, Ravishing Rick Rude, and a few others under his wing.
Paul Heyman's come a long way, man. He's done
I
so
know,
much.
yes. And of course, like probably the ECW days when he was running that company.
Yep. I love ECW. That was the best damn thing that ever happened to pro wrestling in Philadelphia.
I know, yes. I got fits to say that ECW kind of like gave a helped give a gateway to the Attitude Era in terms of the Hell in the Cell matches, the bra and panty matches between two female wrestlers.
Yes. What would we do without an Eric Bischoff and a Paul Heyman? Because they really made things edgy for us.
I know
They
if
really,
it's to say that Eric Bischoff does deserve a lot of credit, because the NWO massively took off and the reason it took off because it fit in with what was going on within the 1990s. Around that time, Marilyn Manson was the main thing within rock and roll status. Kids were looking up to him, be rebellious, be your own person, anti-establishment, and the NWO simplified that. In fact, I stated this before. The NWO were the Sex Pistols of professional wrestling.
for real.
And Eric Bischoff was their Malcolm McLaren. And for those who do not know who he was the manager of the Sex Pistols during their brief existence. He was one who actually put the Pistols together, to be exact.
Yeah.
Like Bischoff helped put
He
together
had
the
this man,
NWO.
man, the genius that he is. Oh my God, that man.
I know.
Well, I don't want to talk about Vince because yeah, but like the Vince that I grew up on was a genius. I'll give him credit where credit's due, but
Mhm.
where he is today, it's just breaks my heart, and it's disgusting and sad at the same time.
But you know what? At the same time, it's good to see Paul Levesque. I almost said Paul Heyman for a second there. Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, in there because like many people have been hoping and praying that he would get into that position, straighten the WWE out because there the past few because the past few years during McMahon's reign in that company, the ratings have been down, the storylines have been I mean, everything has been wishy-washy for how many years? I mean, like now with Paul Le, Paul Levesque in the toe there, it fits to say that some of the storylines have been improved a lot. I mean, especially with the storyline between Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley coming back. We're going to see possibly some issues brewing up pretty soon with the new bloodline, as the things that we mentioned seconds ago.
Right,
So if it's to say that right now the WWE is doing pretty well, better than it was back years ago.
right.
Right there. All right, there. I think this be the end of the program. I gotta get up in the morning. Got a eye doctor appointment in the morning there. All right, so Prince, I want to thank you for coming on with me, and we could do this together, have
Good.
this live stream together. I know it would have been better if Carlos and Paul was on board,
Right.
but it would have been also cool if YR was here. But as we know, he fizzled out at the last minute. So I'll probably get a hold of him later on today, or he'll get a hold of me about doing some shows, possibly later on. Hmm,
Right.
possibly later on tomorrow, because it's not Wednesday just yet. 5 more minutes to go before you reach that peak, and possibly
Yes.
just something on Thursday evening there. I'll have to wait and see. In the
Right.
meantime, ladies and gentlemen, for Prince, Idol, and myself, we thank everybody for watching our show together. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and notification bell. And what the heck's going on here? Now we're ready to roll. And we'll see you all later on this week. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prince. Have a good one. And God bless you.
Yes. God bless.
All right, there. Bye bye, everybody.